I know you sidetracked me, so I had to get back to the screen I needed to be on.
That's all right.
Okay, you are streaming and you are recording, so you're all set.
Okay, so we will call the meeting to order, July 13th, 2021 at 7:02 p.m.
And the members present are?
The members present are Joe Mayato, Mike Focarelli, Samantha Snow, and Donnie Maderis. We also have present Jim Farrell, the beach manager, Cindy Gould, the secretary, and Carol Wardell, the Zoom coordinator. Ladies and gentlemen, have you had a chance to review the minutes from the prior meeting?
I didn't get to review them as much as I was hoping I would be able to, since they were sent out a little bit late.
Yeah, you can take a quick look now if you want. Mike, did you see them?
I did, yep. I
Okay,
had no additions or corrections.
okay.
Does the section under old business moving forward to separate line items must be made to stipulate between capital and operating expenses? Does that cover what we talked about when Carol mentioned that we have to submit that in writing to the town next year? Remember that portion that we covered?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, we can add that in. That was discussed.
Yeah, that would be my addition. I think that's an important thing to make note of.
Did you get that, Sin?
Wait, yeah, please repeat what you wanted added in.
I can't quite recall it word for word, but Carol had mentioned that we need to submit in writing.
Oh, okay, got it.
At the end of the year, whatever we need to carry forward. Is that correct, Carol?
Yes.
Here's Billy.
Hi, Bill.
No, oh, yeah, he is here. We had both.
Billy, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yep. So Cindy, just add Billy to the members
Yep.
present.
I did.
There's somebody else too.
Yeah, no, the one that shows the phone is actually Donald Maderis. He must have two devices that he's trying to connect to.
Oh,
The cell phone, he should be able to, whoop, not one way. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't working for him. I don't know.
It looks like he sent a chat message. I can hear and see you all, but yes, not working.
Yeah, that he was responding to the fact that his mute unmute wasn't working.
okay. All right, well, we'll continue on, and I guess if he has anything to say, he can chat it in.
He can put it in the chat box and we'll read it.
Okay, that works. All right, so are we ready for the minutes? Can I have a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting as amended per Sam's input?
So moved. Michael Focarelli, so
Second?
moved.
Samantha Snow, second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the minutes from the prior meeting. All in favor, Mike Focarelli,
Aye.
Sam,
Aye.
Billy,
Aye.
Joe Mayato, aye.
And then,
And
and
Donnie says aye. Okay. Then we have correspondence. We have received some correspondence that Carol passed along related to the accident at the beach. And we're just going to file that stuff. The attorneys are handling that process, and we just take those communications and file them. All right, Cindy?
Okay,
Get a hard copy of those, and when we get back to the town hall, you can put those in the file cabinet.
okay.
All right? Is that appropriate, Carol? Do you think that's the best way to go with that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I don't believe, does anybody else recall any other correspondence that we received?
The letter from Nancy Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, did you respond? You haven't responded to that yet, have you?
What's that letter from Nancy Anderson?
Well, it was written to the council. One was about the helicopters keep flying overhead, but we responded to her on that we have no jurisdiction. And the other part was about the beach and a mobility issue and access for handicap access or elderly with disabilities. I know she's had some conversation with Jim. I don't know if there's anything else that can or cannot be done to assist people in that condition, but I think you at minimum need to discuss what her concerns were and then respond back to her, even if it's to say we can't do anything more, but.
All right, Jimmy, did you talk to her?
I don't remember her specifically. I have talked with several people, hence the new signs that we've got up at the beach on each lifeguard standing at the front gate that say, if you need assistance getting onto the beach, ask a lifeguard. Again, we went through this 15, 20 years ago with the ADA and compliance on access to the beach, and that the handicap wheelchairs won't work on our facility. And the gator was approved as it was approved by an ADA representative way back then as appropriate way of getting people onto the beach and handicapped access to the facilities.
All right, Jimmy, why don't you just get together with Cindy and just draft a few lines and send that out to her on the new email address, Cindy?
Okay,
Okay, and then either blind copy the rest of us or forward it to the rest of us after you've sent it.
okay.
That way we can see, at least we're being responsive to her. And there was one other communication that I got, and there's nothing for us to take action on it or anything. It's just, Jimmy, this is to refund the $50 cost of the junior lifeguard program to 2 families, correct?
Yes, two kids that did not pass the swim test. So we're refunding them the money that they had paid for that.
You okay, man?
And I'm glad that we actually are holding our lifeguards to a standard and not just, letting anybody through. If you can't swim, I guess pretty much that's not a job for you, right? Okay, I think that's all we have for correspondence. And then the bills, I printed them out. Jimmy, you want to just run down the line? It's just easier that way.
Hold on one second, let me pull that out.
Cindy, you have the printout with the amounts?
I do.
All right, I'll go down the line. We have Jim Farrell for 2123. It says equipment box.
Yep, that was to store Codex equipment.
And banners and flags, $208.
The replacement flags. She's got a new little Compton flag coming for us also.
Okay. And AT&T 4782 for the phone. That's the standard charge now, right, Jim?
Yes.
Okay. Lawrence Waste 345 for the dumpster.
Yep.
Is that working out with Lawrence, Jim?
Lawrence has been fantastic. They
Okay.
actually answer their phone. They actually respond within a few days of any questions we have, and that sort of thing. So they've been great.
And Hallman Septic for 2945. How long is that for, Jim?
That basically, I don't have the exact bill in front of me, but I believe that that's for end of May through July 1st.
All right, because it seems like a lot. So yeah, I've got it here. It's from May 26th through June 1st, and then June 1st to July 1st, and then June 21st to July 1st. So there's a number of different ones there. So that's to your satisfaction, Jim, the 2945?
Yes, we started off with, we started off with 6. Originally, we upped it to 9, to our normal amount and stuff like that. That's why you see different dates and different billings there. Yeah, and Porta Johns are expensive. They are probably one of the better ones around. I think last year our July through September bill was like $12,000.
And they're getting cleaned at 3 times a week?
3 times a week. They're still sticking with the COVID compliance, with the 3 times a week.
Okay. And then we've got Wilbur's for 116.20. Is that mostly for water?
Water and hardware, yes.
Yeah. And Humphreys for 415.12. We still
Yep.
painting?
Oh yeah, we're always painting.
Okay. All right, so the total bills are $4,243.37. Can we have a motion to pay the bills?
Michael Focarelli, I make a motion, we pay the bills.
Samantha Snow, second.
Okay, I have a motion made and seconded that we pay the bills. All in favor? Mike Focarelli,
Aye.
Samantha Snow,
Aye.
Billy Ryan,
Aye.
Joe Mayotto, aye. And Donnie.
John Maderis, aye.
Okay,
All right, before we move on the bill subject and stuff like that, these sheets that this was sent out to you on, the new thing that Tony and I worked on last year, using the line item numbers that should match up with what the treasurer's office does. Again, there's a few of them that are not, like office equipment, we haven't got a line item number for yet, but we're going to try to keep it simple. Does this work for you guys?
yeah, no, I think that's good, Jimmy. It makes it clear. And on that subject, I'm still waiting for them to get back to me. The finance director said he was going to get back to me after he talked to the auditors, and I haven't heard from them yet. They might be busy with other things right now. But as far as the process and the wording for these accounts, but I believe, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the parking lot money is still there.
Yes, it
Carol's
is.
nodding her head, so I think that's the case.
Mhm.
They were a little unclear about it, but I think that the parking lot money is still in there from the warrant. So when those bills are paid, they will just make sure you tell them, Jimmy, to take it out of that account.
That was on the last one we did in the last budget. So
Right,
it
okay.
has already been taken out.
Right.
So just make sure that they took it out of the right account.
Yeah,
And,
it was
um,
given, where are we here? Wilkie, the 6609 account.
All right, just confirm with them that came out of that account where the money was being held for that purpose.
One more quick thing while we're on the bill subject, seeing as how we're going back to in-person meetings with the next meeting. Do you
No, we're
guys?
not.
We're not.
No, because I found out that the governor has extended it until after August.
Okay,
No.
in that case,
No,
never mind.
no.
I was gonna ask you whether
No?
you want me to.
No, I need to correct that. The governor extended the declaration of emergency. He is going to let the order that mandates that you do electronic and Zoom meetings, that's going to expire. At the end of business on the 23rd, that will expire. That's what he has told us. He's not going to extend that.
Oh, okay, so we can meet in person
Yes.
for the next
Yes.
meeting? Oh, cool.
What
Okay.
what he extended was the declaration of emergency, but that has
Okay,
to do with the Open Meetings Act.
Okay.
thank
with
you.
that- Along that line, my question for you guys is, do you want me to continue signing for the bills, or do you want to start signing for the bills at the meetings?
Why don't you continue to do that for the time being, Jimmy? Once we stop meeting in person, if we want to change that, we can change it.
Okay, and again, the way payroll lines up now,
Right.
it's gonna have to stay with me signing for it, because
That's correct.
payroll won't be done until Thursday.
Okay,
Don, I saw what you put up, but can you put that in an email for me for the next agenda, please?
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the other thing is, Carol, procedurally, are we supposed to be, we as the beach commission, are we supposed to be sending a letter at this point in time, being that we're at the end of the fiscal year, or, we're just past the end of the fiscal year, as far as carrying forward encumbered funds or anything?
It technically should have done that in the month of June, before the fiscal year ended. You can certainly write something to him now saying that you meant to do something, but I don't know whether the auditors will say it's okay for them to encumber certain funds.
All right, Cindy, can you send a letter to the finance director asking them if it's possible for us to encumber the funds from the prior period into the period going?
Is there anything even left from last fiscal year? Jim?
Not really.
That was in that whole mess of who knows what was going on in the last fiscal year.
Well, I think your operating budget, if I'm not mistaken, I think you spent that all.
Okay, if I pull up my records, which do not 100% match with the treasurer's office, we're 16,000 over what our budget was intended.
Right.
So there is
So
nothing.
I don't think there's anything extra there that you can even encumber this year.
What about on the other warrants? Is there anything on those?
You can clarify that the parking lot stroke or article that was in fiscal year 21, that should be encumbered into the parking lot fund annually, that's something that's supposed to happen each year. And that should have happened anyways. So you can write a letter clarifying, to make sure that any funds that were left in that did get held over into that fund.
Okay.
But
And
usually
again,
it does.
this screwball thing with that 35,000 with the parking lot fund, that is what Tony and those guys were using for the matching funds with the grant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they need to know where it is. I don't think you have a problem with that particular fund because that one was being transferred properly before. It was just some confusion between Tony and Joe as to whether it was, but I did find 2 reports where it showed that it was there.
Yeah, and Jimmy, like we talked about, when we put that budget together this winter going forward, we'll make sure that everything is going to be clear and that the finance director understands what's going on and that we understand, what we need to tell them.
Okay, and again, when you guys get on Thursday, when I send out the payroll and the pay period 1 income expense report, you'll see down the bottom of that I've combined the operating expense and the 2 article lines that were on the warrant. So it's got a total figure with all of those added together. And Tony
Right.
has switched the money so it goes into the numbers, the line item numbers that we're looking at. Like we talked before about the capital project numbers are all going to be under the same, capital projects are all going to be under 6605.
Okay,
Jim, 6605 is a line item.
Line item, yeah.
Okay.
So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to get when we turn our bills in, the treasurer putting them in the same line item so that his reports match up with my reports and that sort of stuff. So we're talking on the same page instead of, okay, what the heck is this?
Mhm. Okay. Right.
all right, we're getting there. I think things are going to be a lot clearer going forward.
Yeah. If
Definitely
someone,
gonna be easier
Yeah,
once
if
it's
someone
straight.
uses Microsoft Calendar at all, or Google Calendar, anything that you might use that reminds you, I would suggest that you put a reminder in probably May of next year or May where it's going to come up annually, where you should remind yourself that you need to look at what funds you want to encumber for the end of the fiscal year, so that you at least have it in your thought process that by the end of June, you need to make sure you tell the finance director what you need to hold over, if there's anything.
yep, that's a great idea. Cindy, can you make a note of that so that when the time comes around, that we'll all be reminded of it?
Yep.
All right, so in keeping with all of that, as far as the one of the items on the agenda was to discuss the budget preparation accounting procedures going forward. So that item, I think we've pretty much handled that. And then the next one was the possibility of talking about the town charter amendment. But I think that we, in talking to Tony and Joe DeSantis, the finance director, and Jimmy and Carol, it seems like this process can be handled within the system that we currently have, and that we can hold onto the money by encumbering the funds and carrying them forward, and setting up proper capital accounts so that we can put the money into it and that it stays there. In the past, as we discussed last meeting, it just kind of went away at the end of the year. So together, I think that we can, we can work this out. And also, I'd like to report about the next item on the agenda about the Nature Conservancy. Donnie and I have been meeting along with Ned Levine, who's been helping us a lot as a go-between, as a volunteer, with the Nature Conservancy. And unfortunately, at this point, Donnie and I are recommending that we stick to our guns, but the Nature Conservancy is trying to back down somewhat from what they originally had stated. So it's still going back and forth in negotiation. I wish they were being a little bit more honorable about it, but it's not a dead item. And but Donnie and I are pushing for us to get as much money as we can from them, really, is the bottom line. They did, and it's not just John Berg, but his boss, Scott somebody, that he said that they would share in the cost of the security for last year. And now they're trying to not make it the full 50%. But anyway, we're still working on it. We, as Donnie has pointed out, the part that we're hoping to get and clear up is the issue of the end of the beach there. And we've had that in our possession by adverse possession for like 50 or 60 years.
Right.
So, but the goal here is to try to clear that all up so that it's clear in black and white, and recorded correctly, so that CRMC doesn't get confused and stop mixing things together with the Beach Commission and TNC.
Right.
If each has their own, it makes it much cleaner going forward. So that's our goal. But it's still in negotiation. Anyway, that's kind of a long-winded answer to say negotiating. And I think that's it on the agenda, except for the beach manager. Oh, and also, it's not on here, but I just wanted to let you guys know, I've been down the beach a few nights, and I happen to be there Sunday night as well. And the the GNOME program seems to be going very well. It's very well attended. Coincidentally, I ran into a girl that I know that has a son that's 2.5 years old that has brain cancer. And he's been going through all kinds of surgeries and so on and so forth. And he was down there taking advantage of the program. So it was nice to see. Dawn and I were down on a Friday night, and we saw a little girl that was in a wheelchair, completely paralyzed, arms and legs. And Chris had her out there on a surfboard, and she seemed to be having the time of her life. So I just wanted to say that I think that's really been a good thing that we're supporting of. Okay, so Jimmy, it's all you.
Basically, everything's going well. You know, we're well staffed. We're one of the few beaches in the state that's not crying for lifeguards. It looks like we're going to be well staffed right through till the end. We have not run into any major problems except for weather. It doesn't seem to be cooperating with us at all. A little bit notation on GNOME. I am going to be having a fairly serious talk with him about following our rules and regulations. He did an illegal fire last Sunday night and left it burning on the beach. And
Okay.
Monday morning, 2 small kids got burned.
Oh, no.
So we're going to be reminding him that there's a reason why there's a permit process for fires and stuff like that. So,
Absolutely.
again, Chris does a great job, does great work, but he's a bit of a bull in a china shop and likes to make up his own rules and regulations. And he's playing with our toys here. He needs to follow our rules.
Absolutely, Jimmy.
Can I speak to this for 1 second? I have had a lot of questions on a personal level. People have been asking me how often they're doing those big parties at Stand 3, and I've been there twice. They've had them twice. So is that an every weekend thing or?
I think it's Sunday nights, Sam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I fully support the GNOME program, but I know that there is starting to be some issues like that. I've heard a couple things on, like I said, on a personal level, that I haven't, submitted in any official capacity, but people are starting to notice.
Yeah, I
sort of
think they
how big
definitely
it's
have to
getting.
follow the rules. Absolutely.
So we did get them finally giving us a list of who's coming in, all this sort of stuff. But again, there's a lot of little knick-knack things that he agreed to in the beginning that he's not doing. But again, things like leaving fires burning on the beach that's just not cool. If you did that at a campground, I think it's like a $2,500 fine if you leave an unattended fire on a campground. So,
Jimmy, do you want to handle that yourself, or do
yeah,
you
let
want
me
Cindy
take
to
care of
send
that.
email? You'll handle it?
I'll take care of talking to him about it and stuff like that. And I will, just basically tell him if he can't follow the rules, that he might need to find somewhere else to go.
Yeah. Tell
Wait,
him that it came up at the beach
Yeah.
commission meeting.
is the night security in charge at the end of the night of putting out fires, or is it?
It's not really part of their job to put out the fires. Again, anybody that has a fire down there, that's right in their
Right.
beach, right in their fire permit, that they are responsible for putting the fire out. If there are things, like an example like what Chris left there, they brought their own stainless steel fire ring down, and then they just dumped all the ash right in the middle. In fact, right behind Stand 3, right where 90% of the people walking down to Goosewing walk, and left it burning. They tried to put it out. They put sand on the top of it, but sand does not work putting things out. And in the morning, before we got there, there was a young lady with 2 kids walking down on the beach who went and like, oh, look at this, and how that I got hurt. Talked
Yeah.
with a woman and stuff like that. She said she doesn't think it's that bad, but she thought it was very irresponsible of us to allow fires on the beach and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. So,
Well, there's plenty of water available there, so.
Yep. yeah, no
Um,
excuse.
Yeah. And Donnie, by the way, is commenting, there is no reason why he can't get a fire permit in advance like everyone else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jimmy, I would feel free to tell him that the beach commission spoke about it, and that if he doesn't, comply with your rules and regulations, that he'll be getting a letter from us.
Jim, do you feel like it's a safety issue at all to not have access to that turnaround on Sunday nights, or is it fine?
Well, no, they shouldn't be in the turnaround. They should be beyond the, where we would in the old days had campers. We did tell them it was okay to do it there.
Okay.
Anybody we got coming down, like a perfect example is like the community center is coming down, I guess in a week or so, and that's where we're going to park them when they come down with the bus and stuff. So
When I saw them, they were in that area. They were not in the turnaround.
yeah, I mean, they've been pretty good about that. So the turnaround is still fully there and available and stuff like that.
Okay.
On that note, Jim, Amy had reached out to me as well about the community center. She just wanted me to double check that that's okay, that a bus will be coming down at noon. I
Yep.
told her to just check with the head
Yeah.
guard and the gate staff the day of.
We'll just have her pull right in there and we can mark off an area, could put some cones out where they try to keep them enclosed in that area and in front of a lifeguard stand.
Okay, perfect. Thank
By
you.
the way, I don't know if I mentioned this just to Jimmy or if I mentioned it at the last meeting, but I was down there one night, and this is regarding the security, and a whole group of Jeeps came down. Did I mention that at the last meeting?
Mm-mm.
No,
I guess I was just telling Jimmy about it. It was like a Jeep club, I guess, of modified Jeeps, but they all had mass plates, and I guess they were just doing some kind of a ride or a rally or whatever. But I witnessed the security turning them all around and sending them back. So they're doing their job that we're paying them for, is from what I could see.
Yep. They've been, in case any of you guys know, their timesheet, for the back of their timesheets, we have an incident log on the back of there. So anything to do if we need, power to show the TNC what the security is doing, we can show them how many dog interventions, and the dog interventions compared to last year are way down. It's getting across. Again, illegal fires, there's almost none now. They did stop one person going down to camp on Goose Wing and stuff. So again, having them there is eliminating a lot of these problems and is making it so TNC doesn't have to pay to have a person there. They don't have a warden down there every day like they used to. And again, the lifeguards do 90% of their dealing with the public and keeping the plover safe and, keeping Goose Wing a nature preserve.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that, Jimmy. It'll help us in our negotiations. Did you have anything else, Jim?
That's pretty much it at this point in time. Like I said, we're my only worry at this point in time, again, is we sold so many season passes in last year's budget that we might see we might see income not quite being what a normal August would be. But on the other hand, if the weather keeps up like this, that's not going to make any difference anyway. So weather's been kind of killing us. So.
Yeah. Well, that's Mother Nature. We can't we can't help that. I'm sure that you adjust staffing accordingly. If it's raining on the weekend, we're not spending money on lifeguards and so forth. So we'll just have to hope for some good weather.
I hope so.
All right. If no one has anything else, Cindy, when's the date of the next meeting?
July 27th.
And that's an in-person meeting at the town hall?
Yes.
Yep, according to Carol.
All right.
I'll be glad of that.
Carol,
won't
you
see
wanna-
anymore.
What did you say, Carol?
I said, you won't see me anymore.
Wait,
you can
aren't you
come
gonna
down
come-
if you want to.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
you haven't enjoyed this immensely?
Well, I have actually, but it'd be nice to get back to a normal life.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Gonna keep us in line.
I know. She still does that, by the way, behind the scenes.
I believe it. I did have one quick question. I know that we're responsible for South Shore and Lloyd's. Are we responsible for Town Way Beach at all?
Yes.
Yes, all of the beaches.
Okay, everything.
Yeah, we just don't have active presence on some of the other beaches, but there are things. Donnie has been very involved with Town Way
Okay.
as far as what has happened down there and so forth. There's another step, so to speak, there that we would like to get done, and that's some reinforcement of the bluff there. But it's very tricky with CRMC and so forth, what they allow you to do and what they don't. Everything has to be engineered and so forth. But I know Donnie has a goal to do that.
Yep.
Donnie was saying, you were talking about Town Landing. Samantha's talking about Town Way. Which
Right.
is,
Oh, I'm sorry.
another
I was
beach.
talking about Town Landing.
Yeah,
Yes.
Town Way next by
Almy Creek.
Dalby Creek.
It is a town
Yep.
beach.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's all technically under the commission, and part of what Donnie has been working on trying to do is getting more of a presence in those other areas as well.
Great.
It's a little
One of the
bit
things-
tricky because our resources would be stretched.
Right.
One of the things we
in order
do
to
try
do
to
that.
do every year with all of the beaches, Lloyd's, Town Landing, Town Way, et cetera, even the harbors, on some of the mucky days when we have staff on, we'll send them down there to do a cleanup just to establish our fact that we're there.
Right. I remember that at Lloyd's.
Yeah.
And the Boy Scouts do a cleanup also, usually once a year, they do a cleanup down at Lloyd's as well. All right, well, if there's nothing else, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do we have a second?
Samantha's now a second.
Okay. We have a motion made and seconded to adjourn the meeting at 7:36 PM. All in favor, Joe Mayado, aye.
Michael Focarelli, aye.
Bill Ryan, aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
And
I
Donnie
can't
says
wait
aye.
to-
In the chat.
Hopefully, we don't have to do this anymore. We can just say it right in front of everybody.
I'm glad
All
I
right.
came right at the end of Zoom.
Yep.